What's up, everybody, and welcome to Stoniecast number 76 and season 3, episode 9 of Thoughts and Hunches, making money in bunches and sucker punches. It's your boy Stony back for the 76th time, and I'd like to welcome all of my fellow hoodlums, cheats, lowlifes, hustlers, scumbags, altar boys with unhealthy relationships with their priests, foul-mouthed, raging alcoholics, fienders, and degenerates. If you're new to the show, hey, welcome, right? It's good to have you here. And make sure to hit the subscribe button in the lower right-hand corner so you can be notified every time I put out a new video. That's usually on Friday evenings around this time. Now, tomorrow is my birthday, so make sure to send all gifts to Music City, USA under the name Pimp Daddy Stony. All right. Looking back at last week, well, there's a first time for everything. For the first time in 3 years, I had back-to-back losing weeks. That's now 3 losing weeks out of 8 on the season. The numbers are still solid, though, on the season, and with the NFL being the lone exception. I guess there's a reason why only 10 NFL teams have a winning record so far, and the others, well, don't. There were some positives, though. The Degenerate special hit on Saturday night, all right? Along with the Padres beating the Dodgers in the late Saturday game. So if you played those games the way they're designed to be played, then you were okay heading into Sunday. 6-8 in the NFL does nothing except anger me and make me work harder to get back on track. So here are the numbers so far. Last week, 17-20 overall. That was 7-9 NCAA football, which puts us 83-47-2, good for 63.85% on the season for NCAA football. NFL last week, 6-8, 47 wins, 42 losses, 3 ties, 52.81%, flirting with that Mendoza, well, not the Mendoza line, but the break-even line. Just above it, but not by much, by a game or two. So MLB playoffs last week went 4-3, so we're 9-5 on the season. That's good for 64.28%. So overall, with all the picks I've been giving you, free picks, keep in mind, everything I give you is free. And remember, nobody else does this. Nobody will give you this many free selections. Overall, 134 wins, 92 losses, 5 pushes. That's 59.29%. Anything above 57% is considered an all-star, is considered great. 60% is Hall of Fame type shit where we were last year. And had it not been for 2 straight losing weeks, we'd still be up there in the 60s. So now's the time to get back into the 60 percentile. Okay? Last night we had the Cardinals at -2.5 at home versus the Saints, and that turned out to be way too easy. Starting off the week with a winner is usually a good sign, though it didn't work last week. So we're looking to go big this week, all right? Quickly, before I get to the picks, I got to get something off my chest. I know I said something similar to this last year for those of you fienders that remember, but here are some thoughts. What's the first thing you think of if somebody asks you about the Atlanta Braves of the 90s? If your answer is that they always lost, that's fine. The Braves were in the playoffs 14 years in a row and made it to 5 World Series where they only won 1 title, and 2 of those losses in the World Series were to the Yankees dynasties of Jeter, Posada, Bernie, Torrey, and company, right? Fast forward to today, and we have the Dodgers, right, who have now made 11 straight playoffs and made 3 World Series with only 1 win, and even that win has a massive asterisk next to it because of a 70-game season during the pandemic. Dodger fans are the first ones to say that Barry Bonds' record should have an asterisk. Well, what about your title? That's a bigger asterisk than anything that Barry ever did, okay? Yet every year the Dodgers, right, and Dave Roberts are celebrated for being the model of consistency and winning all these National League West crowns and breaking their club record this year with 111 wins. Yet they find themselves at home watching the Padres and Phillies battle it out for the National League pennant. It's mind-boggling to me how managers like Dusty Baker and Dave Roberts are universally beloved by every talking head in the sports media simply because they're, quote, nice guys. And their stories like Dusty Baker sharing a joint with Jimi Hendrix back in the day. Yet nobody takes them to task for their flagrant mishandling of pitching staffs in the month of October. Well, I am. Some may say I'm just a Giant fan talking shit, but I tell you that I saw my Giants win 3 World Series without 130 home run hitter on any of those teams. Why? Because nobody handled a starting rotation and a bullpen better than Bruce Bochy. When I see Roberts and Baker continuously blow it in October and nobody checks them on it, I go nuts. This is ridiculous, and so are Roberts and Baker. By the way, Bochy, back in the bigs today, signed with the Rangers. Good luck to you, Boch. We love you in SF, that's for damn sure. We ready? Let's move on to the picks, all right? Since tomorrow's your boy's birthday, we're going to start early and often to go big. And we'll start in the ACC at noon Eastern, where 5th-ranked Clemson is a 13.5-point favorite against a surprising 14th-ranked Syracuse team. Both teams are unbeaten, and Clemson has won 4 straight in the series. While the Tigers' own wins over a couple of ranked conference foes already, they're looking to make it 3 against the Syracuse team that is playing really well and boasts the ACC's top defense. Syracuse will put a scare into Clemson, but the Tigers eke out a win, but not a cover. Give me the Cuse and the points. At noon Eastern in the Big Ten, 2nd-ranked Ohio State is a huge 29.5-point favorite against Iowa. The Buckeyes' lowest scoring game of the season was early in the season when they scored 45 points. Since then, they've been rolling offensively. Both schools had last week off to prepare for this one, and Ohio State must face the nation's 3rd-best scoring defense and 7th-best defense overall. Let's not kid ourselves. Iowa can't score. We all know this, and they're going to be lucky to even score in the horseshoe tomorrow. But 30 points, I'll take the road dog here. Waco, Texas is the site of a Big 12 matchup at noon Eastern with 3-3 Baylor, the 8-point home chalk against 5-2 Kansas. The defending Big 12 champion Bears have dropped 2 straight and are facing the possibility of becoming irrelevant unless they right the ship. As 8-point favorites, our friends in Las Vegas believe they will. But Kansas has also dropped 2 straight after starting the season 5-0. This Baylor team is not the same team as last year's version. And this Kansas squad can score. Baylor gets the win, but KU gets the cover. Yeah, that's 3 straight road dogs. Excuse me. A good one takes place in Dallas tomorrow at noon Eastern as 21st-ranked Cincinnati visits SMU as 3.5-point favorites. 3-3 SMU got it together long enough last week to snap their 3-game skid in a nice win over a tough Navy squad. We know SMU can score, but they've lost 5 out of 6 all-time to Cincinnati, who's quietly re-entered the rankings after a season-opening loss to Arkansas. Since then, the 5-1 Bearcats have ripped off 5 straight and will cover on the road as a short favorite. At 12:30 Eastern, the ACC offers an interesting matchup as 4-3 Duke visits 3-3 Miami in South Florida. Following a 3-9 season last year, Duke has already bested their win total and seeks more on the road as 9-point dogs. They may have lost 3 out of 4, but all of Duke's losses were by 1 possession. Miami broke my heart last week as a touchdown favorite against Virginia Tech that led 20-0 in the 4th quarter before 2 late touchdowns by the Hokies backdoored the number and sent me into a furious rage, wanting to kill all things Canes. No. Fuck the Canes. Give me the Devils and all those points, period. At 3 Eastern at Jerry World in Arlington, 2 teams heading in different directions meet in Big 12 play. Texas Tech's dropped 3 out of 4, but is still a 6.5-point favorite against West Virginia, who's won 3 out of 4 after a miserable start. The Mountaineers are moving the ball better and defending a hell of a lot better, so I'll take West Virginia catching the touchdown on the road, even though Texas Tech wins the game. Another Big 12 matchup at 3:30 Eastern sees two ranked teams square off as number 20 Texas heads to Stillwater to take on number 11 Oklahoma State. The conference's top two rushing teams will be on full display as Okie State looks to bounce back from their first loss of the season in last week's OT choke job to TCU. The Cowboys blew two big leads and were outplayed in overtime and now must face the conference leader in rushing, Bijan Robinson, and a healthy quarterback in Quinn Ewers, who returned last week to lead the Horns to a win over Iowa State. 6.5 may seem like a big number to lay on the road in conference against a ranked foe, but I like the Horns in this spot to pull away late behind Robinson's legs. At 3:30 Eastern, the Pac-12 takes center stage as number 9 UCLA travels north to Eugene to face off against 10th-ranked Oregon. The 5-1 Ducks were embarrassed in their season opener by top-ranked Georgia, but since then they've ripped off 5 straight, and we all know how difficult Autzen Stadium has been over the years for visitors. 6-0 UCLA is a 6-point dog, and after knocking off Washington and Utah the last 2 weeks, is ready for the quack attack. Dorian Thompson-Robinson's a dark horse Heisman Trophy candidate as the Bruins quarterback, but feature back Zach Charbonnet has been the motor that allows head coach Chip Kelly to pound the ball and not let defenses key on DTR. This has the makings of a great one, and Oregon may pull it out in the end, but I'll take the 6 all day long with the Bruins on the road. Saturdays in the South means the 3 F's. Family, faith, and football. That's right. At 3:30 Eastern in the SEC, 7th-ranked Ole Miss heads to Baton Rouge to take on the fake, phony, and wildly overrated LSU Tigers. This ain't the same old Rebels of Lane Kiffin's past where a quarterback just slings it all over the place. This squad dominates the line of scrimmage and runs the ball to set up improving quarterback Jackson Dart, who also runs the ball. Brian Kelly and his family got a win in Gainesville last week over a banged-up Florida squad, and the wise guys in Las Vegas just simply missed this one. Just because LSU has owned Ole Miss over the last 10 years, LSU's somehow a 2-point favorite. I'm all over Ole Miss in this spot, catching the number, but also the money line as well. Staying in the SEC at 7 Eastern, 6th-ranked Alabama hosts 24th-ranked Mississippi State in a battle of two teams coming off painful losses. The 5-2 Bulldogs were listless in a painful loss last week in Lexington. I mean, let's face it. A banged-up Kentucky team took apart Hail State in a 27-17 beatdown. Now Tuscaloosa waits. And an angry Nick Saban, not to mention an Alabama squad that I'm sure was put through the ringer by Saban during the week in practice, following a 52-49 loss on Rocky Top last week. The Tide still rolled up 49 points, and their offense isn't the problem. Neither is their defense, despite surrendering the most points in 107 years. 21 points is a big number to lay in conference, but Saban has suffered losses before, and we all know what follows. Roll Tide. At 7:30 Eastern, we venture to Big Ten country, namely Happy Valley, as 16th-ranked Penn State is a 4-point home favorite over 4-2 Minnesota. The Gophers have dropped 2 straight after starting 4-0 with losses to Virginia and Illinois, while 5-1 Penn State was thoroughly dismantled in the Big House by Michigan last week. Minnesota's been exposed, let's face it, and James Franklin is far too good of a coach to let last week's loss beat his Lions twice, especially in front of the annual whiteout crowd in State College. Take the home chalk here. At 8 Eastern in Fort Worth tomorrow, the Big 12 has a good matchup of two ranked teams as number 8 TCU hosts 17th-ranked Kansas State. 5-1 K-State has won 3 straight following their inexplicable loss to Tulane last month, buoyed by the rushing of Deuce Vaughn and a rejuvenated quarterback Adrian Martinez. Now they face their toughest task, though, as nice wins over Oklahoma and Texas Tech are nothing compared to winning in Fort Worth against unbeaten TCU. The Frogs are a short 3.5-point favorite that came back from the dead last week to knock off Oklahoma State in overtime. With TCU's offense operating the way they are right now under first-year head coach Sonny Dykes, K-State won't be able to keep up. Give me the home favorite here. At 8 Eastern tomorrow, we head back to the ACC as Louisville is a 2.5-point home favorite over Pittsburgh. 4-2 Pitt has won 3 out of 4, though Western Michigan, Rhode Island, and Virginia Tech hardly represent Murderers Row. Oh, and their loss in that stretch was to Georgia Tech. Yeah. 3-3 Louisville has their offense cooking lately and is a short favorite at home. I'm all over the cards here. We head to the Mountain West at 10:30 Eastern tomorrow, where 2-5 Nevada hosts 3-3 San Diego State up in Reno. Nevada's a hot mess right now. Thankfully, they dropped the degenerate special for us last week and lost outright as favorites to Hawaii on Oahu. 5 straight losses to the likes of Hawaii, Colorado State, Air Force, and Incarnate Word. Yes, I said Incarnate Word beat Nevada. All right, doesn't offer much hope for the Wolfpack. The Aztecs are a 7-point road chalk and have won 2 of 3 as their offense has found their groove. Again, road favorites in conference are tricky, and I'm not a big fan of them, but there's no concern here as SDSU wins by double digits. Finally, the Degenerate Special. That also goes off at 10:30 Eastern. It's a Pac-12 matchup as 5-2 Washington heads to Berkeley as 7.5-point favorites to take on 3-3 Cal. The Golden Bears have had their moments this year, though very few. I mean, does anyone even remember them covering in South Bend earlier this season? Yeah, I didn't think so. Last week was a new low as they were beaten by a god-awful Colorado team. Washington was 5-0 and sniffing the top 10 before losses to UCLA and Arizona State derailed them. The Huskies bounced back with a nice win over Arizona last week and should have no problem taking Cal to the woodshed and close out our day in grand style. After 15 NCAA matchups tomorrow, 15 of them, right? Let's hit the NFL hard this weekend. So we'll kick things off at noon Eastern in the Queen City as the Bengals are 6.5-point favorite over the Falcons. Since he got to 3-3 by winning 3 of their last 4, including last week as they came from behind to knock off the Saints. The Falcons are still an anomaly. Their fans don't like Marcus Mariota, but he played like a superstar in last week's upset win over the 49ers. The key stat here is that Atlanta is the NFL's only unbeaten team against the number. Yeah, they're 6-0. Until that changes, I'll take them. Bengals win, but Falcons cover. 1-4 Detroit heads to Jerry World at 1 Eastern to challenge 4-2 Dallas. The Lions started off kind of nice, staying close and covering. But that seems like a long time ago as they've now lost 3 straight, including last week's shutout loss in Foxborough. Dallas came back and gave Philly all they could handle last Sunday night, but fell short, and now are a big 7-point favorite. No thanks. Too many points. Dak's back, but I like Detroit to bounce back strong. Road dog here. The 2 best teams in the AFC South that are both trending in the right direction meet at 1 Eastern here in Nashville as the 3-2-1 Colts come to town here in Music City as 2.5-point dogs to face the 3-2 Titans. Indy came from behind to knock off Jacksonville last week, making it 3 wins in their last 4. Their lone loss during that streak? At home to Tennessee, who won 3 in a row to salvage their season before having last week off. I've seen this movie for the 6 years I've been in Nashville. Titans win in Indy, and Indy returns the favor in Music City. Yes, that's 3 straight road dogs to start an NFL Sunday. Also at 1 Eastern, the struggling Green Bay Packers head to our nation's capitals as 5-point favorites over a banged-up Washington squad. Washington's a mess. The Redskins, or the Commandos, whatever you want to call them, beat Chicago last Thursday to snap a 4-game losing streak, but lost Carson Wentz. Tyler Heineke, who's a battler and a baller, will get the start against a Packer team that lost 2 straight to the New Jersey squads and looked bad both times, especially last week at home in their loss to the Jets. These are the games over the years I've seen too many times. Though I'd like to take Washington and take all those points, Rodgers goes off and gets the easy road win and cover. 3-3 Tampa Bay heads to Charlotte at 1 Eastern as a huge 11-point favorite to face the 1-5 Panthers. Carolina's a mess, and at 1-5 not only fired their coach, but apparently are openly shopping their best players as Christian McCaffrey was traded last night. But they're at home now as double-digit dogs against a Bucs squad that doesn't play like a Tom Brady-led team anymore. TB wins, but Carolina covers. I'll take them. Oh, those tricky traps. At 1 Eastern in Duval County, the New Jersey Giants may be 5-1, but are 3-point dogs at 2-4 Jacksonville. The G-Men have won 3 straight and 4 out of 5, while Jayville has dropped 3 straight after a pretty impressive start. Yeah, the Giants should be at least a 5-point favorite, right? Wrong. That's why I like the Jags at home. Lay 'em. An AFC North matchup in Baltimore at 1 Eastern sees the 2-4 Cleveland as 6.5-point dogs against 3-3 Baltimore. This one's easy. Jacoby Brissett is exactly who he thought he was, and Cleveland can run the ball. Baltimore is not who he thought they were, as they have now blown late leads in all 3 of their losses. Ravens win, but Brownies cover. At 4:05 Eastern in Mile High Country, the 2-4 Broncos are a short 1-point favorite over the rejuvenated 4-2 Jets. Yeah, the Jets are a good story, and everyone is down on Denver and Russell Wilson. Now's the perfect time to sell high on the Jets and buy low on Denver. Coming off a short week to get the win at home over New Jersey, yep, buy Denver right now. Also at 4:05 Eastern, the 1-3-1 Texans head to America's Playground to take on the 1-4 Raiders. Yeah, the Raiders are the best 1-4 team in the NFL and are still a touchdown favorite over a really bad Houston squad. Yep, the Raiders continue to play to the level of their competition and get the win, right? And they will get the win, but they don't cover the big numbers. So give me the Texans plus the 7 on the road. At 4:25 Eastern in La La Land, the Chargers are 5-point home favorites against the surprising Seahawks. Seattle was supposed to be shitty, but apparently nobody told them. Geno Smith has been a revelation, and despite losing Rashad Penny as their feature back, rookie Kenneth Walker III has stepped in and led the Sea Chickens to a win last week over Arizona to get Seattle back to 3-3. The Chargers are frustrating and can't seem to cover any numbers anymore. So give me the Hawks and the points. At 4:25 Eastern, the NFL's game of the day is a rematch of the Super Bowl from a couple years ago as the 4-2 Chiefs head to Santa Clara in Silicon Valley to take on the 3-3 Niners. A loss to Indianapolis last month for Kansas City led to a 2-game stretch of wins over Tampa Bay and Las Vegas before blowing a lead to Buffalo last week. Mahomes is all you'll hear about, but their defense is what causes concerns. The 49ers defense is a mash unit right now, as last week's loss to Atlanta featured only 4 starters on defense, and it showed. Who's going to play this Sunday? A bet on either side of this game is betting on the injury report because both squads are banged up. We do know that 2 major players are back as Trent Williams and Nick Bosa will play. So this will be a different 49er team than a disastrous team they put out on the field last week in Atlanta. The 49ers running game will be the main factor here as KC cannot stop the run at all. And if Christian McCaffrey even gets on the field for 5 or 10 plays, and he's available to go on Sunday, the Niners offense will only be better. As 2.5-point home dogs, I'll take the Niners. Sunday night at 8:20 Eastern, the 2-4 Steelers head to South Florida as a big 7-point dog to challenge the 3-3 Dolphins. Excuse me. That's what happens when you chew and try to talk at the same time. Can't do 2 things at once. A surprising win over Tampa Bay last week killed the Steelers' 4-game losing streak, in which they were blasted all over the field. Can they continue, though, in the heat of Miami against the return of Tua Tagovailoa? Tua's injury coincided with the Finns' 3-game losing streak, and right now they're massive chalk at home. I'm pretty crazy, so I'll roll with the Finns and lay them as Pittsburgh is reminded once again how shitty they are. This is just a classic case of the better team winning and winning easily at home against a team that is clearly inferior. Monday night at 8:15 Eastern, we got the 2-4 Bears heading to Foxborough to take on the 3-3 Patriots. The Bears have lost 4 of 5, but have somehow battled in some of their games and managed to cover some numbers. Monday, they're an 8-point dog against the New England squad that saved their season with 2 straight blowout wins to get back to 3-3. At home, where Bill Belichick takes the word genius to another level, I don't care who they're playing. Never bet against New England at home. Period. Lamb. So there's your 13 NFL plays for the weekend, along with last night's winner in the Cardinals that got us to 1-0 to start. Now, as usual, we look ahead to next Thursday's game and jump on the early line as Tampa Bay hosts Baltimore, what should be a pretty good matchup. The Bucs are 3-point favorite, and again, if the line drops below 2 or above 4, then this pick will be null and void. If it stays within that window, I'm going to take Baltimore and the points on the road to start off the week. Finally, October baseball is a wonderful thing. And if you ain't been watching, you've been missing the best time of year for clutch baseball. Quickly, let me explain and to get another thing off my chest. Ronald Acuna is one of my 3 favorite baseball players today, and he's not in the playoffs as his Braves were eliminated last week. The good news for me, though, is that my other 2 favorites, Bryce Harper and Manny Machado, are still getting after it and delivering. I know Manny and Bryce are hated amongst a lot of circles, but they're gamers, and they're both coming through in the clutch right now, albeit against each other. Manny just continues to amaze, and Bryce Harper, Jesus. An extra base hit in 7 straight games, most consecutive. Yeah, Paul O'Neill holds the all-time record in postseason history with 8. Bryce Harper can tie that tonight. Crazy. League Championship Series prices are as follows. This was before the game 1 of both of them. The ALCS has the Astros at minus 185, the Yankees at plus 150. I jumped all over the Astros, and I'm not trying to be popular, right? As I know a lot of you not only consider them to be cheaters, but you're just tired of them, right? As they're trying to make their 4th World Series in 6 years. They will. Yeah, they're up 2-0 right now, so I'm not really going out on a limb. But I did at the start of the series. I took Houston. I jumped on them early. The NLCS has a refreshingly new take as the Padres are a minus 125 favorite over the plus 105 Phillies. And I took the Phillies to win the series because I want to see Bryce Harper get his first ring. Yes, I want to see Manny get his, but Philly has the hot hand right now. And with the series tied at 1, this series has 7 games written all over it as Game 3 is going to start in a little more than a half hour. The game that's starting soon is Game 3 in the city of brotherly love, and the Padres are a minus 115 favorite with Joe Musgrove on the mound against Ranger Suarez, who's minus 105 at home. Musgrove has been better, but Bryce Harper is the best player in baseball and is playing like it right now. Give me the Phils in Game 3 at home. As for tomorrow, both series keep going at 6 Eastern. Both series keep going, but at 6 Eastern, we have Game 3 of the ALCS with the Astros up 2-0 over the Yankees. Well, this time the series shifts from H-Town to the Boogie Down Bronx. Garrett Cole takes the bump for the Yankees and faces off against Christian Javier for the Stros. The Yankees are minus 145 and Houston is plus 120. With the next 3 games in the Boogie Down, the Yankees have to win at least 2 out of 3 just to get the series back to Houston. And with Nestor Cortez set to go on Sunday in Game 4, the Yankees could very easily see the series tied at 2 heading to Monday where Justin Verlander will be waiting. The problem is that Houston has absolutely owned the Yankees this year. And a flyer on Javier at plus 120 might not be a bad play. But in a must-win for the Bombers and the Boogie Down, I'll take the Yankees tomorrow. As for the NLCS, there's no number for Game 4. This is Game 3. I hadn't even started yet, so we'll skip over it. If you're interested in my pick for Game 4 or any other games that go on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, throughout the week, right? All you got to do is text me, email me, or just reply to this video, and I'll post my pick each day once the line comes up. So there you have it. 15 NCAA plays, 14 NFL plays, plus one for next Thursday, and 4 MLB plays. That makes 33 of them for you Rhodes Scholars out there. And 19 wins is our benchmark. So the higher we get above 20 W's is the best, right? So just remember that if you want to win big, you got to bet big. Scared money don't make money. To me, the action is the juice. There's money on the streets that can't be ignored. And finally, good luck to you.